Imagine uncovering a forgotten 500-year-old castle, crumbling before your eyes, and then daring to bring it back to life. That was the audacious challenge at the heart of Castle Impossible, a show that stunned HGTV viewers with jaw-dropping risks, emotional stakes, and breathtaking reveals. From hidden centuries-old artwork discovered behind a wall to renovations that pushed a family's courage to the limit, Season 1 was anything but ordinary. Every week brought suspense, setbacks, and breakthroughs that left audiences both inspired and amazed. Now, fans are asking, could HGTV dare to take this even further with a second season? The idea isn't just exciting, it could be the network's riskiest bet yet, because with castles, nothing comes easy, and the stakes for HGTV have never been higher. To understand why the possibility of a second season feels so daring, we need to step back and revisit what made the first one so unforgettable. Castle. Impossible wasn't a simple makeover show with predictable projects and neat before and after shots. It was the story of Daphne Reckert and her husband Ian Figuera, who inherited a centuries-old chateau in Lesigny, France. Their dream was simple on paper but monumental in reality, to restore it piece by piece, transforming ruins into a livable home. Every corner of the chateau seemed to resist them. Rotten beams threatened to give way without warning. Towers leaned precariously, hinting at collapse. Plumbing systems hadn't functioned for decades, leaving entire wings uninhabitable. Budgets stretched thin by supply chain nightmares meant that every unexpected issue became a potential crisis. And beyond the logistics was something even heavier, the emotional burden of preserving family history. A quick pause. If you want to stay updated on all things HGTV, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video if you're enjoying it so far, and drop a comment to share your thoughts. Alright, let's jump back in. Daphne's grandfather had passed the castle to her with hopes she would protect it, and that legacy weighed on every decision. Meanwhile, she and Ian were raising two young children inside walls that seemed determined to crumble, adding urgency to every project and amplifying the pressure to succeed. One moment, in particular, captured the imagination of viewers everywhere. While tearing back layers of decay, Daphne and Ian uncovered a hidden 400-year-old painting. It wasn't just a historical artifact, it was a living reminder of the château's past and a symbol of the unpredictable journey they were on. Each project carried the potential for disaster or wonder, and viewers couldn't look away. The castle itself became a character, full of secrets, mysteries, and surprises that no blueprint could predict. That sense of unpredictability left audiences hooked, but it also raised a critical question. If one season brought this much strain, why would HGTV even think about doing it all over again? Part of the answer lies in the energy that followed the finale. Social media erupted with pleas for a continuation. Fans called Castle Impossible one of the freshest and boldest shows HGTV had offered in years. That level of passion is rare, and when audiences respond so strongly, networks listen. Viewers weren't just asking politely, they were demanding, sharing clips, and tagging HGTV directly with comments like, "We need season 2." For a network competing in a crowded landscape, that kind of buzz is invaluable. And there's another angle too. Traditional renovation shows, whether it's flipping suburban homes, restoring bungalows, or updating farmhouses, have become predictable. The formula works, but it doesn't always surprise. Castle Impossible stood apart, offering something global, historical, and far more dramatic than a new backsplash or coat of paint. It represented a chance to push beyond the familiar formula and stake a claim in truly unique storytelling. HGTV may see this not just as a show, but as an opportunity to redefine what its brand can be. Streaming platforms have only raised the stakes. With Discovery Plus and Max competing for attention, content that stands out is more valuable than ever. A series about restoring castles doesn't just belong on television. It fits perfectly in the binge-watching culture of streaming audiences. Imagine entire weekends spent watching a castle transform room by room, with shocking twists and emotional payoffs in every episode. For HGTV, the gamble may not be why risk it, but rather, can they afford not to? Still, anyone who watched the first season knows the risks aren't hypothetical. They're painfully real. Renovating a centuries-old chateau isn't just expensive, it's unpredictable. Cost balloon with every hidden crack, mold outbreak, or structural collapse. Even one room could consume hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stretch that across a full season, and the numbers climb into the millions. Networks can handle overruns, but when budgets spiral beyond expectations, even a hit show can become a financial burden. Then there are the headaches of production. Filming in France requires permits, adherence to heritage laws, and coordination with international crews. Every nail hammered into the château has to comply with regulations designed to preserve its historical character. Weather delays can stall progress for weeks, and unlike in a suburban flip, you can't cut corners. If a stone wall collapses or a roof caves in, the cameras stop rolling until it's fixed, and that pause costs money, not to mention momentum. And not every surprise is welcome. Season 1's hidden painting became a highlight, a treasure that turned into an unforgettable storyline. But just as easily, the next hidden wall could reveal catastrophic damage, the kind of problem that derails an entire storyline and leaves projects half-finished. For a network like HGTV, that's more than a production snag. It's a reputational risk. If fans tune in expecting miracles and instead get months of setbacks, the disappointment could undo all the goodwill the first season created. The decision then becomes a balancing act. On one side is undeniable fan enthusiasm, the chance to deliver a breakout success, and the uniqueness of a show that no rival can replicate. On the other side are financial dangers, logistical chaos, and the possibility of tarnishing HGTV's image if things go wrong. Networks thrive on momentum, but they also fear public failure, and Castle Impossible offers both in abundance. So, should HGTV dare? The truth is, Season 2 would indeed be its riskiest bet yet. But history shows that great television often thrives in the space where risk meets reward. If the network invests in proper planning, prepares for overruns, and embraces the unpredictable nature of the château rather than fighting against it, Castle Impossible could evolve from a promising cult hit into a global phenomenon. The key will be in framing the chaos not as failure, but as drama, the kind of raw authenticity that audiences crave and that keeps them coming back for more. And if they don't, then Season 1 may remain a rare, perfect jewel, an inspiring story of legacy and survival that ends on a high note instead of collapsing under its own weight. There's an argument to be made that sometimes it's better to leave audiences wanting more rather than risking disappointment with a follow-up that fails to measure up. Castle Impossible was never just a renovation show. It was a story about daring to dream bigger than reason allows, about saving history one wall at a time. Season 1 gave us unforgettable transformations and emotional discoveries. The question now is whether HGTV will risk it all to chase that magic again. What do you think? Should the network gamble on a second season, or should Castle Impossible be left as a one-of-a-kind achievement? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories about the shows you love.